up, guys? Welcome back to the Fig Heel YouTube channel, and today we're going to be doing another episode of Ask Heel Anything. Now, I have my handy dandy Stone Cold Steve Austin cookie jar. Like I said in the last one, I dropped it and I had to glue it back together, so I need a new one. But until that happens, we got this guy, and we are going to pop your questions right out of this. So, I asked you guys to, if you wanted to ask me any questions, submit them on a certain IG post, and you guys came through. I think there was like 60 on the post, bunch on Twitter, bunch on YouTube, bunch on Facebook. So thank you. I promised you that if you asked a question, I would shout you out, and I'm a man of my word. So if I haven't answered your question yet, I will, and you'll get that shout out. So let's pop this open and let's see what Stone Cold has to ask us. Pop him over to the side. Actually, no, we'll keep him right in the center, right? Keep him right in the center. Boom. Gonna do random. I'll probably do about 15, 20 questions or so. Number one, Crash.Hardy on Instagram. What is the worst figure you think Jax ever made? That's very easy to me. I am very, very vocal about the fact that I think Jax Attitude Era, BCA, and Titantron Live Billy Gunn figures have a horrible likeness. I love the body sculpt on the BCA figures, but the Titantron Live, those head sculpts are horrible. It looks nothing like Billy Gunn. I have no idea what they were thinking, but I think that is one of the worst, if not the worst, action figure that Jax ever did. And they did some bad ones. They did some good ones, did some bad ones. At Elite Collector 91, Elite_Collector 91. What era of wrestling figures are your personal favorite, and how long have you been collecting? I've been collecting my whole life. I've answered this a lot, actually. My first toys were wrestling figures. I got my brother's hand-me-downs, LJNs, and my favorite era of wrestling figures, even though they're not the best wrestling figures ever made, that would be BCA's, because it was the time when it was just like the ultimate period of wrestling for me. And the Attitude Era, Stone Cold Steve Austin was my favorite of all time. And it was just awesome to have all the figures, and they actually had articulation. You have to understand, like, Hasbro's didn't have the articulation to do as much. Their legs didn't move for the most part. Same thing with Galoobs, LJNs. So these were the first really articulated figures that we could literally play with and make them do things. And your creativity went wild if you were a kid then. At Frog Prince Vlog. Which wrestler or wrestlers of the Attitude Era do you wish they would have made? It's going to sound silly, but a couple of the figures that I wish that they made of the Attitude Era are definitely the Mean Street Posse. I know they weren't the biggest wrestlers, the biggest names, but I wish that they made Mean Street Posse figures. I just thought that they would have looked so cool. I really liked the Insane Clown Posse when they were with the Oddities, and as a kid, I remember like, oh, I hope they make ICP. Not that they were around long enough. And I think Jericho really deserved one. Man, there's honestly so many. It's actually tough. To go along with the Oddities, I really wanted all the Oddities. I thought it kind of sucked that we got Kurgan and no other Oddities. Besides Luna, but she wasn't really made to go with Kurgan. Man, there's so many. I think the most obvious is that we should have gotten a Chainsaw Charlie, because we did get him with the minifigures. And as a kid, I was like, oh, they've made this mold and scaled it down to this size. We're definitely going to get a Chainsaw Charlie, and sadly, we never did. Good question, though. At Fig Time Pod. If Mattel was to part ways with WWE, would you collect the next upcoming line? Absolutely. Absolutely. 100%. I know I'm in the minority here, but I kind of like when lines die and they end, because that means like we're getting a whole new universe of figures that we could collect, and I just think that's so cool. It doesn't bother me that I have to get the John Cena's and the Undertakers and the Triple H's again. It's exciting to me to have a whole new world of articulated figures. and I kind of look forward to it, believe it or not. At vintage_80s_icon. What are your 3 favorite BCA figures by design? Can be by attire choice, parts choice, or anything really that stands out most to you. Well, one of my favorites, I already have said this today, was the Billy Gunn. The reason I liked Billy Gunn was I liked his legs. I thought that they nailed his boot mold and his knee pads, but I liked the fact that his knees were kind of a slight bend, so it made it perfect for you to do a Famouser to another figure. I loved that. I really loved the pants and t-shirt Stone Cold Steve Austin. I know they used that on a couple people, but the original Austin 316 from the Signature Series, one of the best figures ever. I liked the bend in the arms. Even though his hands were open, you could do a Stone Cold Stunner and kick his legs out and do a perfect Stone Cold Stunner to other figures. And another really well-designed figure, I'd have to say, is the Ministry of Darkness Undertaker. It got re-released so many times, but the one in the black and red robe, I just think even today, it's incredible. At Jumpin' Jeff 12211. Will there ever be a face reveal, or are you waiting to start an OnlyFans? Well, now that I know that you were interested in OnlyFans, I blew it by doing my face reveal already. I actually get this a lot. People always, this is up there with one of my top questions because I mostly film and post my figures, and there's a reason for that. You guys are here for figures. You're not here to see me. This isn't the me show. I'm not putting me on blast. I'm showing you my collection, and a lot of people want to see my collection over my face. But I understand, I guess there's a mystique there, but I have shown my face quite a few times. It's just not as often as you may think. Because the spotlight on this channel and on my Instagram accounts is the figures. And I think that's what it should be. At WCW_WWE figures. Do you have Shane Douglas, the franchise Toy Biz Unleashed mint on card? No, I don't. And actually, over the years, I've only seen it quite a couple times. But the reason I don't have it mint on card is for the Toy Biz line. I open all of them. I know it's weird because I get questions all the time. How do you decide what you're going to open? What you're going to keep loose, keep mint on card? And really, there's no rhyme or reason. It's just how I feel about the packaging, how I feel about the line. And I don't have any Toy Biz WCW figures mint on card, and when I get the mint on card, I do open them. I like having that line open. I have all of the accessories in a bin somewhere, but I display them loose, and I do not have the franchise Shane Douglas mint on card, but I do have him loose. I actually just yesterday got a Perry Saturn finally. I did have it before, but I have no idea where it went. It was mint on card somewhere in my storage. But I got one for a really good price, and I'm going to pop that open soon on the channel. So, no, I don't have a mint on card. From Instagram, at Subatomic Super Monkeys and Stuff. Do you own the WWF Superstar Shootout stick hockey game and or Tug of War Mania? You have so much that I can't tell. I actually have both. They're both open. I have the Shootout game, the actual table part in storage. I have the all 12 figures and the puck, which is it's insane how rare it is to find the puck, on a shelf in my collection because I consider them figures. So I display the figures. The game is just too heavy, too big to really display unless you're gonna hang it on the wall. And I was afraid that it would fall off and get broken because I still have the box and everything. But yes, I do have that, and I do have the Tug of War Mania, which is one of my favorite items ever, but it's from my childhood, so it doesn't really work anymore. I put the stickers on the game pieces kind of crappy because I was a little kid, and the box is beat up, so I've been holding out, and I constantly search to find a Tug of War Mania in mint condition in the box, and that actually reminded me, that's one of the big grail items that I look for. At Pyramid Wrestling, my dude, what's up, man? Pyramid Wrestling is another great YouTube channel and great Instagram account to check out. He's got an awesome collection, and he's got a great YouTube channel. If you like my stuff, I think you'll like his. It's very, very, very similar. Of all of the unreleased wrestling figures you have uncovered, which 3 to 5 do you wish you had the most? Man, that is so hard. So if you guys don't know, I also run at Unreleased Wrestling Figs on Instagram, and I do a bunch of unreleased wrestling figure videos on the channel, including a LJN one that just came out on here. Really cool. You should definitely check it out. It's tough. It's tough to say which 3 to 5 I would want. I think the easiest one for me to say is it's actually going to be 2 ECW ones, because I'm big on the ECW line. The Amish Roadkill, which still has never been uncovered, and the head-wrapped Sabu, which again still has not been uncovered somewhere. I'm afraid that we'll never see it. But those are 2 pieces I would really like to own. And let's see. Oh, and easily 3 and 4. The original Wrestling Buddies by Jax, Bone Crunching Buddies, were not going to be what they ended up being with the mechanics and the arms and legs. They were actually going to be just plush dolls, and they had shown Mosh and Thrasher, the headbangers, at a toy fair, and they come with cloth skirts, and they're just incredible figures. One of my favorite unreleased pieces of all time, and that's one I wish I owned. And number 5, I'm going to say I wish I owned the Rhythm and Blues Greg the Hammer Valentine. I thought about getting one of the knockoff ones that somebody made from an original sculpt, but it's just not the same. And I don't want to deceive people. I don't want people to see that in my collection and be like, oh, he's got the Rhythm and Blues. So I opted against getting that. At Matches Home Alone Malone, how many color variants are there of the Hasbro Bret Hart? Well, the first Bret, there's the pink heart and purple heart, and the purple heart is also the mail away, but you can only determine whether it's the mail away if it's in the bag, because it was released on the card as well. And there is the red card Bret Hart. I do wish that they made the Hart Foundation style figures. At Young Action Figures, did a specific wrestler get you to start collecting wrestling figures, or was it just something that just got going? It was my dad. My dad was a big wrestling fan his whole life, and so I feel like when you're a dad, you kind of try to raise your kids to like the things you like. And not only did I like wrestling, but I loved wrestling and the toys that went along with it. So, good question. Man, we got so many questions. I don't know how many videos this is going to be. At Air_AJ11. What's up, AJ? When do you start collecting? Again, very early in life. Some of my first toys were wrestling figures. How many figures do you have estimated? This is so hard. I stopped counting a couple years ago, and at that point, I think I had 6,000, close to 7. Again, not everything is in my toy room. I have a bunch of stuff in bins, bagged up. Not everything is on display. It's impossible for me to display everything. Plus, I still have a bunch of stuff in storage and at my parents' house. And I hope that one day I can upgrade my house and have everything on display. But I just can't do that right now. So, what's the best figure you have? That's tough. I can't even answer that. The reason I get these things is because I love them. What is your favorite and least favorite figure you have? It's kind of the same thing. Have you met or worked with any Mattel or Jazzware workers along the way? I haven't, but I have spoken with Steve from Mattel, and since I run the Unreleased Wrestling Figure Instagram, you know, he's my go-to guy if I'm unsure if a Mattel item is actually unreleased or if it's fake. So he kind of helps me with some of those things, because Mattel's made so many figures with sometimes slight variations. It's hard to tell if they're real or customized, especially in today's climate. At _Brian_Romero_, what made you collect WWE figures and how much figures do you have in all? We kind of just answered that, but thanks for the question. maybe one day, I shouldn't even say this, but maybe one day I will go through and I will literally count all of the figures from my storage, and I'll tack them onto what we have here, and I'll give you guys a number. At figures_enthusiast, which is your favorite WWE action figure? That's so hard again, guys, but that's the second time we got this question, so I'll try and answer it. I guess what I would have to go with, since I answered this to Ted at Wrestling for Sale, he asked me a similar question, and I think that the Stone Cold Steve Austin Signature Series style in the jeans and the Austin 316 shirt is the ultimate figure. Again, he's my favorite of all time. I was an Attitude Era kid, and it's just very playable for the time, and I just think that it kind of encompasses that whole era of action figures. BCA. What do we got here? At Lucky_13 Collectibles, what is your favorite wrestling line? For me, it's classics. Now, my favorite is just... See, it's so hard. I love these things so much, and I go back and forth. But I guess I'd have to say, I love Hasbro's, and I love BCA's solely because those are the two I grew up on. And I love the ECW line. I just think they're incredible. It's one of my favorite lines. Those are my top 3 lines, but I guess I'm going to have to give it to BCA's because that was when it was at the height of my childhood and my imagination. And I was able to actually play and create storylines with these figures. So I'm going to have to say BCA's. Which WWE action figure or figures do you think has the best overall likeness or sculpture to it? At BFR_87. I think that's very easy. Mattel's. I do think Mattel's are the best wrestling figures ever made. Doesn't, like I said, it doesn't mean it's my favorite line. My favorite line and the most sentimental to me is BCA's. So, but yes, they're definitely the best figures of all time. Wrestling. At Rock and Roll 84, you occasionally post at NECA official figures. Yep. Where is the rest of your collection? What else do you collect? It's a good question. I don't get that enough. You know why? Sometimes I'll post my NECAs. I collect NECA horror figures. Sometimes I'll post them, but not often because those posts, they don't get any engagement. You got I try to post things that I think my audience would like. Just same thing with videos. I stopped doing as many unboxing videos because I noticed that you guys don't really watch them. You're more into the figure hunts and the weekly purchases and me showing off my collection and tours. So I try to stick to those things. Unboxes seem to not really be as popular with my audience. Same thing with posting non-wrestling stuff. It seems like it's just not with my audience. But I collect horror NECA Ultimate figures, which there's not that many of them, so it's okay. I also collect Funko Pop Christmas movie pops. So I have Christmas Vacation, the Santa Claus. We have Home Alone, and I put them out as Christmas decorations every year. And I also have all but one of the South Park Funko Pops. And I have them all except for one. It's a newer one that I just haven't found in storage yet. I'm not really worried about it. It's awesome-o. And I'll get it. But yeah, those are what I collect besides wrestling. And we will do 2 more questions. At Darren1, what was your motivation to collect mint on card instead of opening your figs? Well, I do both. I have, it's funny people think that they call me a mint on card collector, but my collection has more loose figures than it does mint on card. The reason that it looks like I have more mint on card is because they take up more space. So that is where your eyes go. But I do have more loose figures than I do mint on card. And I'll discuss this. So the reason I like mint on card, certain lines, is because the whole presentation, okay? When you buy an action figure, okay, I understand people say, oh, I buy figures, not boxes. I get that. It's a cute little line. But you are buying that box, okay? And that is part of the art. And having worked in some graphic design, I know all of the techniques and art that goes into creating these designs on these boxes, and I just appreciate it so much. To me, it is art. Same thing with vintage wrestling t-shirts. It is art. It's not just a t-shirt. It's not just a design. It's art. Same thing with the figure. Those are art. Those are sculptures to me. And just seeing it all, if it really pops to me, I want to keep it mint on card because I can see the beauty in the whole package. No pun intended. So it all depends on the line. I love Classics mint on card. I love Hasbro's, and I love Elite's mint on card. I just think that they look beautiful, especially Elite's. The boxes, I think Mattel's done an excellent job creating that line. And we'll do one more, last one. At Real Mikey Turner, what is your opinion on the Mattel Retro Series? I love it. It's one of my favorite series they've ever done. I do keep those mint on card too, but I have them pretty much all loose as well. Should they bring them back? Absolutely. And I think that they will. People ask me all the time, oh, it's a shame it's dead. If you look at Mattel's track record, they have done an excellent job reviving lines that they've ended for a while or put on hiatus that were huge in the collector community. So, Legends. They've revived Entrance Greats. They've revived Fan Central. They've revived Defining Moments, the Network Spotlight line. Give Mattel some time, and I'm very, very, very confident that they are going to revive the retro line because it is so loved by collectors. They just need to put it on hiatus. That's why they didn't say it's canceled. It's going to be back. Maybe not as soon as we all want, but I do have faith it'll be back. What past and current wrestlers would you like to see added to the line? That's tough. I mean, I think it's obvious that we need a Hollywood Hulk Hogan because Hulk was the king of Hasbro's, so we do need him in there. I like very obscure people, so going back to the Headbangers, like I just want Headbanger Elites, but I would also love to have Headbanger Retros because I remember people making custom Headbangers out of Roddy Piper figures. I think that as far as like today's figures, we would need to have well, a lot of the main stars already got them, I guess, as I'm thinking about it. But need to have a Bray Wyatt in the Funhouse and a Fiend. There's really so many possibilities, but I think that we would have to get some females in there. I think we need a Charlotte. I think we would need a Becky Lynch. It'd be nice to get some girls. I kind of understand why they didn't do girls because we didn't really have many, or any for that matter, in the Hasbro line. Who would we need? I'm trying to think who we would really, really need to have a presence of. But I feel like, for the most part, Hasbro nailed it. Since I'm a big Unreleased guy, I would love to see, we did get the Green Trunks Macho, so I would love to see a Greg Valentine in the Rhythm and Blues. I think that would be an all-time seller. It had to be, because anybody who was in the Hasbro line would definitely buy that up. I would also love to see Tugboat, which I think is very doable. So that would be two of my top ones I'd like to see on the list. So, and maybe even they have rights to Brutus Beefcake, so maybe even that red and yellow Brutus Beefcake. So thank you for the question, guys. I'm gonna put a lid on it. Stone Cold is done for the day. I appreciate the questions. Can't wait to do another episode. If I didn't answer your question yet, I will. It's still in the cookie jar. It's all random. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. That really helps the channel. So if you're not subscribed but you enjoy my videos, I beg you, please give us a subscription. It would really mean the world to us. Don't forget to like it too. When you like our videos, it kind of sends us up in the algorithm and helps us get out to a wider audience. So if you like what we're presenting to you, if you like it, it'll help get us to other people, so more people can like us. And we could do more videos like this because we'll get more questions. So I appreciate you guys and all the love that you give. One of my favorite things about this channel is being able to answer your questions on the channel, but I thought it would be even fun to do it on video. So keep coming back for more, guys. Stay tuned for episode 3 and keep watching. We got some really good content coming up this year. I'm going to go on a limb here, and I'm going to be honest with you that 2021 is going to be the best year of the channel yet. I know it's only year 2, but man, we have a lot of stuff planned that you're really going to enjoy. So keep coming back. Take it easy, guys. Peace. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram @FigHeel and @Unreleased Wrestling Figs. And you can visit the merch store at Pro Wrestling Tees and check out the Unreleased Wrestling figure coloring books available now on Amazon.com, including Prime shipping.